How many of you want to be, desire to be surrounded around big askers? I'm about to change the whole title of this. Big askers for 2019. Raise your hand. I want to be surrounded around big askers. I want to be surrounded around big askers. If you're a big asker, I need you in my circle, right? It's not the time for us to be connected around those who are fearful for speaking up. I need to be surrounded around big askers. I need to be connected to big askers. I need to be connected to those who, because those who ask also are willing to step up and do. Those who ask also are charting the course. Those who ask are willing to do the work, and those who ask are bold enough to go against the grain. Yeah, I'm ready. Those who are ready to go against the grain, that's what we need to be surrounded. That's what I know I need to be surrounded. I can't speak for you, but I know I need to be surrounded around big askers. So this book is something that speaks to me personally. I reference my own book on a daily basis because there's always something that I know I need to be asking for. Have you asked God for grace? Have you asked your supervisor or manager for a promotion? Have you asked your husband or your partner to take you out on a date? Have you asked yourself, you know what, Lucinda? What do you want? Right? Have you asked? Because when we get in the space of asking, now there's no way to level up if you're not asking. There's no way. Also, it's hard to level up if you're asking, but your ask is not in order, meaning that you haven't prepared yourself for the big win and what comes after the ask. So one more, for those who are just hopping on, the big question for tonight. This just set about 50 people free tonight. Do you want to be surrounded around big askers for 2019? Are you comfortable with being around big askers for 2019? And if you raise your hand, I'm going to tell you what's next. What happens next? What happens next? What happens next when you say, surround me around big askers? Surround me around those who are doing the work. Surround me around those who trust the process. Surround me around those who are willing to step out on faith. Surround me around those who are willing to look crazy in the midst of everybody looking sane. Surround me around those who are willing to take bold moves even when the door looks closed. They believe that the door is open. Surround me around those who are willing to make the phone call. Surround me around those who don't know it all, but are still willing to go forward. How about that? You don't have all the answers. See, big askers, they don't have all the answers. They just know that they're willing, able, and ready. Do you have those three qualities? Are you willing, able, and ready? Are you willing, able, and ready? And so this is how I had to G-check myself. Lucinda, you're asking, but you're not willing. Because if it doesn't look smooth, you back out. Okay, Lucinda, you are asking, but you're not able. You keep complaining about what you don't have, who is not showing up, why your income is not adding up, why this is happening before that is happening. You're asking too many questions, the wrong question. So you're not showing that you're able. You're showing that you want to be crutched and handicapped in the process. And you know what? Sometimes when you have a big ask, it's going to require you to pick up your own bed and move. Nobody else is going to do it, right? Because nobody else wants to smell that stinking fear. Nobody wants to be around the Debbie Doubters, the petty patties, right? And so I had to check myself, G-check. Lucinda, are you willing, able, and ready? You're asking, but you're not willing because it didn't show up in a shiny object, right? You're asking, but you're not able. Okay? Able means that you feel like you have the tools or you're going to work with the tools that you have to make it happen. In some form or fashion, the screw is going to go in the wall and the pitch is going to go up. But what Lucinda was doing, I don't think this screw fits. Let me double check the measurements. Let me make sure everything is leveled out right. I'll be right back. That's not able. Able is, when can we do it? How can we do it? What is needed to make it happen, right? And so I was showing up, able, ready, willing, able, and ready. Third one, I had to ask, right? I had to ask, but I wasn't ready. So ready means that I have done the preliminary work. I have done my due diligence. I'm not walking into the space ignorant and being a know-it-all trying to wing it, but I am ready because I have prepared myself for such a time. I prepared myself so when they do say yes, I could grab that mic and go crazy. Crazy, confidently. Like, what? You want me to say what? You want me to share what? You want me to do what? I've been waiting for this moment. I've been grinding for this moment. I've been sacrificing for this moment. So when I get ready, when it's time for the ask, oh, I'm so ready for it. I'm over ready. How about that? And ready enough to be patient for my moment, but also ready enough to know that when it is my time, when my name is called, which I call my name all the time, first thing after we sit there and give God all his grace. God, what does Lucinda need to do today? Yeah, third person. Because if I get all in this, I might want another nap and another omelet, right? But go back to the point, willing, able, and ready. So I had to get all three in order, willing, able, and ready. And that's when the big ask started happening and manifesting in my life, because I was asking all I wanted to. But what happened is I had to detach myself and trust the process. Detach myself and know that when my time comes, it's going to have my name on it. So I don't need to go after someone else's time and try to squeeze into someone else's space and try to fit within someone else's box and question why someone else is winning, because my time is coming and I'm in a space of preparedness and I'm in a space of readiness. And when God says, Lucinda, I don't need to be slow-footed. I don't need to be procrastinating. I don't need to be trying to figure it out. Why? Because when it was time for me to be willing, able, and ready, that's when things got real. That's when ISH got really real in life. Meaning that when you start manifesting and receiving the things that you ask for, it is pretty scary when you are used to rejection, disappointment, expectations never met, broken promises. So you back up. You said, I'm not asking. Ask for what? I might as well do it myself. I got to pray for myself. I got to support myself. I got to show up for myself. So when you're so used to disappointment, rejection, letdown, expectations never met, promises broken, you start dumbing down your ask. Not in 2019. We are surrounding ourselves. Where's the hands? Where's the hearts? Around big askers. And that's why I'm doing the tour. And that's why it's free. I'm not charging you to believe in yourself. You have to show up. The minute you walk in that room, you're saying, I'm ready. I'm willing and I'm able. And that's not to say it to me. We're just connecting in the same space. What makes it a sacred space the minute you take a step inside, which means that you're leaving all of your doubts, all of your limited beliefs outside. You're saying this is the moment that I become a big asker, because I have no choice, because I'm surrounded by big askers and because they're going to do big. Now, remember, I said one thing. I said there's what they call it, a little caveat. There's a little twist on here. It's a little twist. So it is free. The tour is free in February. We're going to add Connecticut. I just got somebody from Connecticut saying, listen, I'm getting a space. We're going to make it happen, Lucinda. And I said, okay. And she said, well, it's free, right? I said, we want the people to come. Too much going on right now. Government shut down this thing. And even if it wasn't, I want you to come in for free. You buy the tool or you don't. But we want you to come in there free. It's we're not gonna no hoodwinking or nothing like that. You're not gonna step in and we say, oh, now you got to give us $97 because you stepped in the room and took a glass of water. No, come in for free. But what I do say is if you sign up, don't hold that seat and not show up. When you sign up, that means that you're saying, I don't care if there is a earthquake, I'm getting into that room. I don't care if the tire runs flat. Guess what? Pump this bad boy so I can get to the building, right? And so that means that you are not taking any distractions, excuses, procrastination, or setbacks from moving forward. If you got to come in there on your hospital bed and your IV, make room. I need to be in a room full of big askers because big askers are big believers. They believe outside of the things that they see. Big askers believe outside of what they already have and what they believe they can obtain. But we have to make sure we get our ask in order. Now, here's the flip side of it. When you start getting surrounded around big askers, which you will, especially during this tour, when you show up, when you start getting surrounded by big askers, you continue to celebrate. You don't start to hate on those that you celebrate with. Does that make sense? Because you can be surrounded around a bunch of winners and you can be winning and then still end up hating on those that you're winning with because you asked for that winning circle. So what we're saying is don't get inside of the big askers space. And now you're surrounded because us as big askers, guess what? We'll start receiving. We do receive. We do. Sometimes you may not know it just yet. We don't share all of the receiving that comes, right? But because we know we can't, sometimes you just can't share all of your receives, right? You can't share all your receipts. That some things is not for everybody. But I'm trying to post the link here. But because I truly believe you asked for this. I asked for this. So once you sign up and once you are a part of this big ask movement, you do not go into a space of comparison and hate. There is no space for that. You stop your own asking and now you boot yourself out. And that's the difference between being on the sidelines taking photos than being the one that the photo is being taken of. Being on the sideline taking the photos versus being the one that everybody is taking photos of. That's the difference. Because big askers, they're receivers, they're believers, they're manifestors, they're celebrators. That is all a part of what the Activate movement within itself. But this book, let me read you some chapter titles, because if you don't know about this book, even if you have this book, you have to show up. Because the things that we're going to discuss and the exercises that we're going to go through, I guarantee you haven't done them before. I can make a bold statement. What we're going to experience on this tour, and I'm not trying to sell you anything, the event is free. What you're going to experience on this tour is, I'm trying to post a link for you to sign up. If anyone has access to that link, usually I do everything on my site. But if you are, hold on. Because I think it is like eventbrite.com/the big ask. But I'm going to go to it. But if you go to this, if you meet up with me, and when you meet up with me on this tour, you will see that this is something that you haven't experienced before. And I can make a bold statement and guarantee that. I guarantee you that. I can't say I'll give you your money back, but because this is free. This is a freebie. This is a free deal. It's free. The only investment is for you to show up. Now, of course, you purchase a book, right? And I'm not even telling you to purchase a book online, which would have been marketing smart. But that people will use that as an excuse. Oh, this week I don't have the $24. Next week. Listen, there's no excuse. We just want you to show up. That's all. So it's the bigasktour.eventbrite.com. I'm putting it in the chat now. Somebody just keep circulating this link. So the hashtag for tonight is the big ask. Hashtag the big ask. I want you to remember, surround yourself around, this is the time. You show up for the tour, you are surrounding yourself around big askers. Big askers. That's all I need to be around. Those who are willing to ask big, do big. Meaning that, see, you're big, don't get that twisted. You're big can be anything that normally you wouldn't have done. You're big. The big ask is an ask that requires you to get help. If you can do your ask by yourself, it's not a big ask. If you can do your ask and it requires you to stay the same, and it doesn't push you and force you to feel different, nervous, to shift, to change, then you're not asking big enough. Your ask is not big. Basically, you're just not even asking, right? You're settling. And so either you can have a nice settlement or you can have a big ask. I'm not settling. We want a big ask. See, settlements come from mistakes other people made. Now they got to compensate it for you. No, we're talking about promises that were made to you that you need to go after. Big difference. So either it's time for you to have this big ask. I believe you have it. I know it's time for you to step up and level up. It's time for you to build that team out. It's time for you to, like my girl D. Marsha was saying today, rebrand and relaunch, right? It's something that she is doing. Why? Because her ask is big. The things that she does for the community, the things that she does for the people, the things that she does for the corporations and the businesses that she works with requires her to have a big ask. She can't do these things on a small scale. And honestly, they would look at her funny if it is any smaller than the expectations that they have, than the checks they need to write, than the work that they need to perform. And so you can look at some of the work that you've done in the past, and it'll show you if your ask was big. If you have been a solo entrepreneur at this point, but you know you need help, let me tell you, when your ask is big, it's going to require you to hire help. It's going to require you to get support. Yes. So are there any questions? So you can go to, I put the link inside of the comments. I am excited. I can't wait to see everyone. I can't wait to see you all. I haven't done like a real full out tour since Activate 2013-14. So for me to come out now, and just really start connecting with people without being contracted to speak at someone's event, coming out for 2-3 hours. I want to chill with you so that we can build your big ask. Now, and once again, it's free. So we're going to end up putting DC back on the map tonight, and we're also going to put Connecticut on the map before the end of this week. But so far, we are traveling to Fort Lauderdale. So if you're in that area, come out to Fort Lauderdale February 6th. This is on a weekday in the evening. Get off of work, do what you have to do. As soon as you get off, drop the kids, come through. Atlanta, we're going to be there February 7th. Charlotte, North Carolina, February 13th. Dallas, Texas, February 20th. Houston, Texas, February 21st. Columbus, Ohio, February 27th. Cleveland, Ohio, February 28th. If you want to host the Big Ask in your city or state, we do have some Saturdays available that we can make happen and work. And we do have some Sundays after the church time that we can make it work. So if you're interested in hosting, we do have a few Tuesdays in February available. We have most Saturdays available in February. And we have a few Sundays after the church time, because I want to visit some churches while I'm out to visit. So let us know if you want to host us. What's required to host? Help us find a space, low cost to no cost, for about 40 to 50 people. If there's more that sign up, we'll get a bigger space or we'll just do part two. But we're looking for about 40 to 50 people. No food. We just need the space, 2 to 3 hours. Let us know that you want to host, which means that you're willing to support us as you're on the ground and building the buzz and the word around it. Here's the link once again to sign up. If you have any questions and you're like, Lucinda, I want to host, or Lucinda, I want to sponsor. So we don't have a tour sponsor as of yet. A tour sponsor is someone who's saying, listen, we want to connect our brand to what's going on, and we're willing to invest in what you have going on, and whether you sponsor one city, one state, or all of them. So for me, one time, this lady, I couldn't attend all of the events that she was doing. She was doing like this big conference tour thing. She was traveling to different conferences. And so she had this brilliant opportunity to where you can sponsor and be a part, like it was like you're at the conference with her, but your brand was represented in every other city and state. And I stayed home and collected all of these emails and sales just from home, because emails are golden. But if you're interested in sponsoring and having your brand connected, let us know and we'll let you know what the sponsorship opportunities look like. But this is a free event. We're connecting with people, and it's for men and women. Here's the link again. Use the hashtag the big ask. We want you to use the hashtag the big ask. Thank you for the hearts and the thumbs up. We want you to use the hashtag on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. And here's the flyer. I'm posting the flyer because I know some of you are like, well, where do I get the flyer? And where do I get this? And where do I get that? The flyer is also on my page. So I'm just excited. I'm amped up about this. It's like, I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Right? Why keep the secret? See, it's so cute. It's so cute. Oh, it's so cute. It's just nice enough. See, your supervisor won't know the power that's packed in these almost 200 pages, 183 pages. They won't know. They're like, oh, that's a cute book. But it's cute enough to put right under your keyboard so nobody knows your business. And they don't know you are working on a master plan. Like, okay, I'm about to get my ask together. That's what I'm about to do. And here's some chapter titles. I said I was going to read them, right? You know, New Yorkers talk fast. Chapter 1, get your ask together. That's my favorite chapter. I love all of them, but I'll give you some of the favorite ones that I want you to start out with. Chapter 1 is get your ask together. Chapter 3 is let go of your guilt. Especially us moms and dads, we have guilt when it comes to asking for us. Chapter 7 is don't put your ask off. Some of us keep putting our ask off. Don't keep putting your ask off. ASK. It's time for you to put there's no better time for your ask than now. Especially if you know that you are what? Willing, able, and ready. The other chapter that I love is 13, chapter 13. You deserve what you desire. Would you believe that in coaching many of my clients, and even in some support groups that I'll facilitate and masterminds, people don't really feel like they deserve the things that they desire? Well, let me tell you something. If you don't get what you deserve and desire in this lifetime, when do you expect to experience the fruitfulness that God has in store? When will you give yourself permission to enjoy the life and the things that God has in store for you? When do you think that'll happen? I'll wait. And unfortunately, some people wait until something pivotal happens. They wait till something terminal happens. They wait till something drastic happens. Does a divorce have to happen in order for you to live your life? Does a terminal illness have to happen in order for you to live your life? No. Does a pivotal moment such as homelessness or incarceration or anything, to lose your job, unemployment, does that have to happen in order for you to make a decision to live your life? But most people wait for something such as drastic and pivotal like that to happen. What if you acted now? as if your life depended on it, on going after your ask and making that phone call and picking up the phone. You will never know how ready you are and how willing you are and how able you are if you don't put your ask out there. So one more chapter that I like, and I'm going to let you go, is, I'll give you two. What you want wants you. Do you believe that? Do you believe that you didn't pick your visions and your dreams, they picked you? Isn't that a beautiful thing? You did not pick your dreams and your visions. They chose you. They said, you know what, Roberta? I want you to write, I want you to write my book. You know what, LaShawn? I want you to host these amazing events. Your dreams they chose you. Your visions chose you. You think you chose them, but the sweet part is they chose you. How awesome is that? So the last one I'm going to talk about, I'm just reading through the big ask. For those who just hopped on, we talked about being surrounded around big askers for 2019. Now, the last chapter that I absolutely love, and when you get your copy and when we have our discussion, you can pick which one really resonates with you, is, so the last one, chapter 21, key 21 rather, is your ask is connected to a big God. Your big ask is connected to a big God. I repeat, your big ask is connected to a big God. So once again, tour happens in February. I want to see you out there. Florida, show up. I want to see you, Cleveland. I want to see you, Columbus, North Carolina. I want to see you show up so that we can be in the same space.